and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Advanced Audiology. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Jean Dorio.
On your hometown station, KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, our in-studio guests this morning are Dr. Dortha Chu from City of Hope, who is running late because she is involved with patients, correct? And later in the hour, we will be speaking with Nola Aronson. And also with us is Tricia Eugenio and Mandy Egglezada. Did I say that right?
Yes, actually, that was great.
From the City of Hope.
You're both from the City of Hope.
Correct.
I'm actually from Providence, Holy
And
Cross.
Providence.
Oh, what happened?
It's a combination.
We're partners in this clinic up here in Santa Clarita. So I'm a Providence Holy Cross oncology navigator working in the City of Hope Santa Clarita office.
A psychology navigator.
Oncology.
Oncology navigator. Okay, very good. Well, I still have to have more of this stuff taken out. Cancerous melanoma.
And Barbara is referring to, on her face, just below her left eye, an area that we've been watching for a while. And now you have your second diagnosis of cancer.
Yes.
Yep.
And I was supposed to have it taken off yesterday, but the swelling has not gone down. And he said if he did it this time, he said the chances are my eye would completely close. So he's waiting 2 weeks for this to go down because he has to go out this way. There's a tiny little thread still left.
Yeah.
That he wasn't able to get.
Just for clarification for our listeners, and lots of our listeners have had experience along the line with malignant melanomas. It's a class, it's a cancer within the skin group, and as most of you know, if you have a basal cell or a squamous cell, it's not a bad diagnosis nor treatment, but when you have a malignant melanoma, it is different. And criteria has been set up through institutes like City of Hope around for other doctors around the world to be able to make sure that we all treat this the same. And so when Barbara, you got your biopsy, it was diagnosed as malignant melanoma, and then we had to start in that process of protocol that everybody follows, what to do next. And so they did a procedure on you to remove it, but there was, on the removal and that biopsy, it was found that you still have some cells present.
Yes.
And so they have to go back in and continue removing until the margins are clear. And so that's what's going on now, and certainly it's a threat, but we want to make sure that this kind of cancer, malignant melanoma, is totally removed.
Well,
so,
I beat it once, and I'll beat it again.
Absolutely.
You're darn right I am.
Yeah.
Cancer will not kill me. Didn't the first time, because I'm still alive and kicking.
There you go. But of course, you know, the City of Hope has played a huge role with Providence in terms of helping those in the Santa Clarita Valley attain good health after a diagnosis of cancer. And, you know, when Dortha Chu gets here, she'll be talking about female cancers, and she's a surgeon, so surgical removal is part of the treatment plan for some cancers, but other cancers are treated in a different way. And as most of our listeners know, City of Hope has played a huge role in assuring that people around the world, let alone in Santa Clarita, have good treatments. And, you know, I think that we have been very lucky to be blessed with now attaining a group here, the City of Hope group, to be able to help us out and get especially our seniors through the struggles of the day, like Barbara.
Well,
Correct,
another nonprofit group we have up here is Circle of Hope.
Correct.
And that's a very active organization.
Yeah, actually,
Really
quite a few
is.
of our patients receive benefits from Circle of Hope. They have their new Hope's Haven as well, which is their wellness center, and it offers anything from art therapy classes to yoga and movement, support groups. A lot of our patients benefit from that. So they'll see us in our clinic, and then we have Circle of Hope flyers hanging around our office for them to get these free services in the community. It's a great benefit.
And Circle of Hope is having a fundraiser coming up in August. Well, this month.
The Vine to Wine.
The Vine to Wine.
Yes, we will be there.
Yes.
City of Hope is actually a
Yes.
sponsor of that event.
That's terrific. Well, I donated a wine and candle basket as one of the auction items.
That's great.
Because I make homemade soy candles.
Oh, that's
And
exciting.
it is full. Absolutely full. There's got to be over $100 worth of candles there if you would buy them in the store. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to going to that. It's always a fun event.
So if people are afraid, especially of skin cancers, but we go by symptoms and diagnoses. And for those listeners, there are quite a few listeners who they know that they have a symptom that is not quite the usual problem that they've seen before in the past. And there's a tendency for some of our seniors to ignore it for a while, and that's probably the worst thing that one could possibly do. And so, we try to make sure that a symptom that is not usual, like if you have blood in your urine, blood in your stool, feel nauseous, and Barbara, that's one simple symptom that Barbara had for her first cancer. She was only nauseous, and that was enough for her to seek help, and within just a few days your diagnosis was made.
That's right.
Once you sought help. So the big fear, isn't it, that once you saw this on your face, this abnormality, and you said, I think I better have it checked out, and boom, there.
Well,
it was.
you see, Dr. Raskin took a large piece of it because it was a big sunspot is what it was. And he took that large piece first and didn't want to go any further to take out the rest.
Right. It's
So-
really important just pay attention to
Yes.
your body and listen to it. And if you have a really good relationship with your doctor, to just say, hey, I have this nagging mole that won't go, that's changing
Yes.
the way the look of it, the borders are kind of irregular, and sometimes it would peel or bleed and then heal, and then it just keeps coming back.
Yes.
So that's kind of a red flag.
Oh,
and
yes.
Back to melanoma, just to mention real quick, we have a doctor at City Hope who that's his specialty, Dr. Scholhammer, who practices in Mission Hills in Antelope Valley. So lucky for some, like you, all we need is to do surgical excision and nothing more. And just discussion with your surgeon and frequent follow-ups with your dermatologist.
So we are joined by Dr. Chu now from City of Hope. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so
and we know you're
much.
busy, and we were alluding to symptoms that patients might have that give doctors a clue that something is going on. But there's a
Absolutely.
gap between when you get a symptom and then you seek help for it, and
Yes.
and if you shorten that gap, you might end up saving your life.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And again, I apologize so much for being a little late. I got a little held up at the hospital, so I really
Well,
apologize for
You
that.
were
It's okay.
doing your
But
job,
thank you.
young lady.
But
and
still,
that's
thank you so
more
much.
important.
Well, thank you so much for letting me come on the show again. Absolutely, I think that sometimes is the delay that we see is that patients wait just a little bit too long before reporting a symptom to us, and didn't give us the opportunity to intervene or at least to evaluate things a little earlier. It can sometimes make a huge difference in terms of the timing.
Now, you are a surgeon.
Yes.
And, we talked a little bit earlier about one of the treatments for some cancers is surgery.
Yes.
From what Barbara has right now with the melanoma, somewhat simpler surgery to surgery where you have to go to an operating room and go under anesthesia and all those things. So
Yes.
for those, and you do gynecologic
Breast surgery.
breast surgery,
Yes.
and this has been our ongoing problem. We talk about symptoms, And sometimes a symptom of a breast problem, especially a cancer, is not the first problem that takes place. So especially for our senior women who are listening, and for our senior men that sometimes we ignore in this whole breast process, what are the things that one might start to notice in terms of a finding and maybe a symptom that could help our listeners track their way into getting to the doctor's office pretty quickly?
Sure. I think, I hear that a lot from older patients. Sometimes it's that fear of, if I do have a problem, I'm going to end up needing surgery, or I'm going to end up needing chemotherapy or some other very intrusive treatment. And it's more of the fear of treatment sometimes that paradoxically keep them from seeking help, because I think, that can be a very real fear. And certainly as we all age, there are physical changes that makes it more challenging for us to tolerate certain treatments and surgery even when you get that invasive. So if I may answer that in two ways. The first way I'll address it is that I hope what the message now has been getting out there to everyone is that treatments for various types of cancer, especially ones that tend to affect the elderly maybe a little bit more so, for example, breast and prostate and some of the others, the treatments that are available now are less invasive and in certain ways even more effective than some of the more traditional like surgery. And so in many times we don't have to go to the sort of the kitchen sink approach where we throw everything at a patient.
Right.
We can actually limit what we need to do because of the fact that if a patient who's older and is afflicted with some of these some diseases, their prognosis is so good, and it's such a lazy or indolent course of disease progression that we can do less and get more. So don't be afraid of potential treatment, because the treatment is probably not going to be as scary as you think. And even as invasive as surgery, there's ways to limit that and to provide some safety as far as exposure to anesthesia and those kinds of issues. As far as actual symptoms, cancer in my field, obviously a lot of it is very insidious. It's just very, very slow, and a lot of times you don't notice something is changing. Cancer does not typically cause pain. That's usually the first thing people think of. Well, if something hurts, then it must be wrong. If it doesn't hurt, it's probably okay. And oftentimes it's sort of the opposite when it comes to cancer. It's things that don't hurt that we typically a little bit more alarmed about. So certainly if you feel a lump physically, for the women a breast a lump, or even in men a breast lump, or any other kind of physical changes, if we're talking about skin, a mole that has gotten larger, a mole that has changed its shape, or any other skin lump or lesion that has changed in some way, it's really the key word there is change, I think, that people need to really understand. It's not that every lump is a problem. If you've had a lump for 30 years, it's probably not cancer. But certainly a lump that has changed in the last 6 months potentially could be a problem that we need to address. So change is really the main issue as far as, I think, alerting us that we need to investigate further. And then systemically, I think it's a little harder because, again, a lot of symptoms that we think of as sort of cancer symptoms are kind of generic. It's hard to tease it apart from other issues. So, again, there's this fear that if I have any problem, it must be cancer. Well, 99% of the time it won't be. It's some other more common problem. But nevertheless, I think generalized malaise, this feeling of just not your usual energy level, not your usual sort of mental involvement even in your daily activities, whether that's feeling like you physically can't participate, or you certainly lose interest in your physical activities. That might be a clue that something has changed that we need to assess. Appetite changes, weight changes that are unintended. So if you feel that you're eating sort of your normal diet, and yet your weight is either gaining or losing, and the gain is also potentially just as problematic as lose. And people think of weight loss, but sometimes weight gain can be a clue that there's something going on. So certainly changes that you do not intend, that doesn't seem to match sort of your physical activity. I think those are some of the things that, while non-specific, again, probably isn't cancer, still probably warrants a checkup.
So how do you get to that checkup? You know, in your mind now, you've said you're listening to the show and you're thinking, oh, yeah, they're talking about things related to symptoms. And yeah, I have symptoms. How do you then get to your primary care doctor and convince that primary care doctor without seeming paranoid about and too worried about it? And this might be your 5th time this year that you've gone in with some kind of symptom that you're worried about. How do you approach your physician? I mean, isn't this a little bit of a harder thing to overcome, so that you don't seem to your doctor and the nurses and the people around you and that are giving you your medical care that you're reacting too quickly to something? Sure.
I think that's a really, really excellent point. And I think that's a lot of the challenges we face these days as healthcare providers is we're often limited by the amount of time that we get to spend with a patient to tease out some of these sort of subtleties. Is this a chronic issue that, again, unfortunately part of aging versus this is really a change that we need to pay attention to? I think what would be helpful from sort of the healthcare provider perspective is that when I do have a patient sitting in front of me, if they are able to be specific as far as what the exact symptom or change that they've noticed and be able to say the key words being, this is a change from my usual, and how long has this change occurred? If they can say, kind of target it down to those words, I think those are words that will make any of us kind of perk up, and perk our ears up and say, hey, maybe I need to think about this a little bit longer if it's a change that's documentable, so to speak, or reportable by the patient. I think that's where it can be very helpful. I think a vague of, well, I think this is different, but I don't know, or I don't know how long this has been going on. If it's only been a week, then those are kinds of reports that makes it very hard for us to then be able to say, is this real, or is this, again, something that just comes and goes, and maybe if we give enough time, it'll kind of pass on its own.
But of course, the worst thing to do is ignore it.
Absolutely.
And when you ignore it and just put it off, if you say, yes, this is a change, and acknowledge that, then you move forward and say, okay, in your mind, if you don't want to make that appointment, then in your mind, you should be saying, well, let me monitor this and, over a week or so and see whether it changes. But, you still have to be very careful with that. So, I don't think that, our listeners should worry that much about what their doctors say. Life is putting out there the correct words so people understand you, and that applies to not only if you talk to somebody who's an attorney, but also somebody who is your doctor, and be able to convey to them that there's a problem here, and you want to be able to get some intellectual and knowledgeable advice from somebody who will either help you with it or point you in the right direction. So you want to be able to have that option open and have a meaningful dialogue and put that together. It's hard to do for some of our seniors who have learned, have just felt that now they're on the back burner in life, and so they don't want to rock the boat or create problems or create even further problems for themselves. So they kind of stay away from it, don't they?
Well, I think men mostly.
I would agree with you maybe a little more about that. Yes,
because women normally and historically have gone to the doctor if something's wrong.
Yes.
Men do not do that.
Yep.
I mean, they may have all kinds of symptoms.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Or they can always call the nurse for, sometimes they just don't like to bother the doctor because they feel like it's so benign, or they're just making it up in their head. So they can always call the nurse, and then the nurse can do some more assessment on the phone and make, be proactive and make a case for the
you better come in.
patient,
You
to
better
come in right away and be seen by the doctor.
But I think men are terrible as far
I
as taking care
a
of
little
their
biased.
health.
I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I'm personal experience from my dealing with my own aging parents. I mean, it's clear the difference between what my mother will tell me about how she's feeling versus what my father will tell me how he's
Yes.
feeling, and I do think it kind of carries over into a more of a general statement. Maybe not everyone, but a general statement. I think as doctors, we're only as good as our patients allow us to be. So, and what I mean by that is, if a patient doesn't tell me what they're seeing, what they're feeling, then they're relying on me to be able to physically detect a problem. And some problems, if it's early or subtle, physically, I'm not superhuman. I don't have X-ray vision, and so I don't necessarily pick it up as quickly as they want me to, just based on a physical exam. Although again, very important. But oftentimes it is hearing something in what the patient reports to me that really alerts me that I need to pay more attention to a certain part of the body, or to look closer at an exam, to really be able to address the issue. And so I would really encourage patients. Honestly, I think more of us would rather be "quote unquote" bothered, because patients are, when they feel reluctant. I tell them don't think of it as a bother. I'd much rather you tell me, and for me to say, that sounds okay, we can just keep an eye on it, versus then you don't tell me and I'm not going to be able to intervene in a timely manner.
That's right. That's right.
And for those of you who are listening, understand that this radio show is only as good as the advice that we can give you, and we're trying to right now at least inform you if you have some apprehension and worry that's taking place right now. Do not hesitate to take that extra step and move in the right direction to a nurse or a doctor to get a little bit better advice.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well,
Again,
I think it's...
I apologize.
Go ahead, finish.
Well, the thought was just, again, I just think treatments these days are so much better than they used to be, that age should not be a barrier to at least getting the right evaluation and getting the right advice.
Right.
You may not need all of the treatment, you may not want all of the treatment, but I think it shouldn't be a barrier to at least having the right discussion.
It's so easy to pick up the telephone and talk into it to a nurse or a doctor.
Yes.
It is so simple to do, but so
Yes.
many people don't want to do that.
Yep.
And I think we
Yeah.
need to take a break, don't we? Thank you very much, Doctor and
Dr. Chu, thank you for hustling over here from
And
Henry.
Trish.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
again, I really apologize for being late, but thank
Oh,
you so much for
what a
letting
wealth
but
me
of
these
on.
information.
ladies filled up.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
I had
they
every
did.
confidence they would. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and
you.
you'll be welcome back anytime.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Little Eye Leaders is the newest preschool in the Santa Clarita Valley. At Little Eye Leaders, our outstanding teachers lead with intellect, perspective, and heart. That means our programs provide a warm, nurturing atmosphere to meet the unique needs of each child. We believe that play is a powerful form of learning for young children. That's why our kids have every opportunity to learn through the magic and excitement of play. Parents, schedule a tour today by calling 303-0400 or online at littleeyeleaders.org.
The minute I open my door,
Debbie Morris has a problem.
I say, oh my gosh,
A really big problem.
the dog, the cat, my 3-year-old.
Debbie's house is a mess.
How can one family create this disaster?
Debbie needs Made for You.
I need help.
Professional residential and commercial cleaning, locally owned. You choose the schedule, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or even one-time seasonal cleaning. Call 255-2922. That's 255-2922. Made for You.
Made for You rescued me.
The Santa Clarita Artists Association has a new gallery in downtown Newhall on 6th Street between Main and Railroad, right across from the Canyon Theater Guild. The gallery features our members' paintings, sculptures, and one-of-a-kind handcrafted gift items. Whether you're an art lover, buyer, or an artist wishing to join, visit our website at santaclaritaartist.org, come to our free monthly meetings at Barnes & Noble, or stop by the gallery. For upcoming events and exhibits, check us out at santaclaritaartist.org. We make visual art visible.
Join City of Hope today in the fight against cancer. Make a difference by participating in City of Hope's Together for Hope, presented by Antelope Valley Hospital and High Desert Medical Group on Saturday, September 15th. Be a part of this inaugural event in partnership with City of Hope Antelope Valley and show your support toward groundbreaking research to treat and cure cancer. They welcome everyone to their 2K walk, 5K run in honor of the individuals in our lives affected by cancer. City of Hope, the miracle of science with soul. Join the movement today by registering at togetherforhope.org.
Olive Terrace Bar and Grill is the hottest new Mediterranean fusion restaurant in Santa Clarita with unique delicacies like seafood right off the boat, mouth-watering prime steaks, artesian sandwiches, delicious pastas, and tasty kebabs. Unwind on their cozy outdoor patio at their weekend champagne brunch, full menu, and weekly specials at oliveterracebarandgrill.com. Check out their full bar and happy hour daily specials in Valencia on Copper Hill and Newhall Ranch Road by LA Fitness. Olive Terrace Bar and Grill, delicious food seasoned with love.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Santa Clarita's hometown station.
Now FM, 98.1 FM and AM-1220, your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS. And now we're speaking with Nola Aronson of Advanced Audiology, and she is one of our Senior Hour sponsors. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too,
Welcome,
Barbara.
Nola.
And
Welcome.
Jean. How are you?
Good, good. How are you doing? The hot weather has set in since we last saw you.
Yeah, I'm doing lots of things.
Yeah.
More
But you don't notice that the heat has a negative effect on people's hearing, do you? Or
yes.
could it?
Well,
tell us about that.
No, the heat doesn't have an effect on hearing, but the heat has an effect on people coming in to get help for their hearing.
Absolutely, that's
because
right.
they don't want to leave their houses, which I don't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a problem there.
Yeah, hearing is just one of those entities. It's a quality of life issue. You know, when you can't see, when you can't chew, and you can't hear, you know, your life is in trouble. And you know, fortunately, we have not people like you, Nola, who are out there helping our seniors along with this deficit, and you know, it's clearly improving people's quality of life in our community.
Yeah, that's true. And so today I thought we talk about also, you know, the kids of parents, because you know, when we say the Senior Hour, you know, we're all seniors here, but I don't think of myself like a senior, and most seniors don't think of themselves as seniors anymore because, you know, we're getting younger, not older. And
very true.
We like to think that.
So one of the things that I've been finding lately that people don't understand is that when they think of a hearing loss, they think of deafness. They think, oh, I can't hear sirens. You know, I can't hear anything. And so that's what they go by when they think of hearing loss. But the hearing loss that affects people, and I'm not going to just say seniors, I'm going to say people in general, because we're seeing people at 40 years old now with hearing loss. And this is very important because our hearing comes down gradually over a very long period of time. Yes, it does have to do with aging, but it also has to do with noise exposure and other elements of a history of ear infections, And it has, you can have hearing loss from just wax in your ears. You can have hearing loss from fluid in your ears. There's lots of other things that you could have hearing loss from besides aging. And what's happening out there is like a lot of kids now are becoming the parents and taking care of the parents. And it's a very touchy subject, hearing, for some reason. Now, vision is not touchy at all. But hearing is something else. And every single day I encounter this.
Denial.
Very much denial.
Denial that they don't have a hearing problem.
Right. And when I ask them, and I show them how they have a hearing problem, but it may only be 40%. 40% is very significant when it comes to hearing, because we have about 20 letters in the English language that are in our language 80% of the time. Letters like S and F and TH and V and P. And when you're missing just one letter in a word, you're missing the context of what somebody is saying, where you don't notice it at all, but the other person does. And the other person gets annoyed because you keep saying, what? Huh? But you don't realize it because it's like kind of like part of speaking these days. And so when you come in and we show you the hearing loss you have and how it could affect you and affect others, because most people come in and they say, I hear just fine. I don't have a problem. My daughter mumbles. My son mumbles. The funny story was, I don't know if I told this before, but I haven't been here for a while, so I'm going to tell it again. It's on a video. One of my patients came in. She put off getting hearing aids for 3 years because of, 1, cost, 2, she couldn't accept the fact she'd have to have a hearing aid, but people accept the fact they can have to wear glasses. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, so she says to me, I put the hearing aid on her and she went home. She said, I have to tell you a story. So for the last 3 years, I have a parrot that speaks to me. And for the last 3 years, for some reason, I felt like my parrot was getting older and getting lazy, and the speech was not clear anymore. But I didn't have time to work with him. And I just kept putting it off, thinking, oh, God, he's getting old now. What am I going to do? He can't speak anymore. But you put these hearing aids on me, and I went home. And the next morning, my parrot comes out on my arm and says, good morning, how are you? And it was clear as a bell. And I just started laughing. And I go, it wasn't my parrot's speech. It was my hearing.
Ding.
And see, that is a true story.
Yes, and
I even have a video of it on my website, because I needed her to tell the story, and she didn't mind doing it on the video. So you didn't think I was making that up. But those are the kinds of things, after 40 years of being in this profession, that I see. Now, in the old days, yes, I agree with everybody. Hearing aids were big. They didn't really work. They amplified everything. But this is 2018, and we have technology now. And everybody wears Bluetooth devices because they have to be hands-free on their cell phones now. And these Bluetooth devices hang out of your ear and are so big and conspicuous. And I'm laughing. I'm going, yeah, and we have these tiny little hearing aids that nobody even notices that you wear. And they are Bluetooth devices, so you get to have them like your own personal headset. And people are going, I don't want a hearing aid. They're too much trouble. They cost too much money. I don't need it. And it is so frustrating to me as an audiologist that, because the reason I'm an audiologist is because I love helping people. I love helping people do better in life. I love helping, people with their social lives, just helping in general. And when somebody says to me, I don't have a hearing loss and I just tested them, in a way that cuts me off from helping people. So it affects me just as much as the person with the hearing loss, because now I'm being told I can't help you because that is the solution.
Well, that person doesn't believe he or she has a hearing loss.
Oh, I know.
But they
you
will.
don't know what you're talking about, Noah.
Right.
But
they even
will.
say they want to. I think I should go get a second opinion. And I go, be my guest. It's
Yes.
the same test wherever you're going to go.
Yes.
Go get a second opinion. I don't care. I'm not out there, and that's the other problem. I'm not out there trying to sell you a hearing aid. I'm out there giving you a solution for your hearing loss, and that is the biggest solution. And you get lots of care when you come to advanced audiology. It's not just, oh, I got your money now, goodbye, see you around. We see you back years after years after years. You never pay anything to see us for our service. So what happens is, if you don't do this, all the studies have shown, number one, you're bringing on a cognitive problem faster, and it could exacerbate if you're going to get dementia or Alzheimer's. It can make it come on faster because your brain is missing the information. You start making excuses why you can't do certain things, or you don't want to go somewhere because you know you're missing out on things. And people don't realize that their hearing loss is more conspicuous than any hearing aid. You are not fooling anybody if you deny your hearing loss. Everybody already knows you have one. And there is help out there, good help. And you could benefit from them. And the other thing is, you start to have fights with people because you're not hearing them.
Misunderstanding.
And then you misunderstand and you take
That's
it
right.
wrong. It's kind of like texting messages. Everybody takes the text in the wrong way and you end up fighting. But this is, hearing wise, you misunderstand people. And then the person has to repeat themselves. And then they start getting frustrated. And then you start arguing. So then you don't even have a good relationship life with your family and the people that you love. All because you have this thing in your head that hearing aids are a pain in the neck, that you have to change the batteries too much. Well, we give free batteries for the life of your hearing aid. And we now have rechargeable hearing aids, which you don't even have to worry about batteries. And then they say, well, they're too expensive. That's the next line. Okay, yes, hearing aids are expensive.
Very expensive.
And it is a lot of money to get the best of the hearing. But realize that hearing aids are not a commodity. They are a medical device. And it comes, if it's done properly, it comes with a lot of extra bells and whistles and counseling and service that hearing aids happen to need.
And it's a medical necessity.
Right.
If you're going to have a decent life.
That's
It
right.
really is. It's an absolute necessity.
So if you're watching television and it looks blurred, and you then get glasses to fix the blurring and you can watch television now, that's a necessity.
Right.
If your tooth starts to hurt and you need a root canal, then you get your tooth drilled, the root canal and a crown, and you get that done, and it's a medical necessity. The problem with hearing is what you mentioned already. The elephant in the room is the worry about the cost of it, but the cost of not having appropriate and good hearing. Would you take your glasses off to then watch TV?
Everybody laughs.
Would you
That's
not
right.
get a dental evaluation if your tooth started to hurt? You have to realize that part of one's quality of life is being able to hear well and interact in your community and in your home. And if you cannot do that, misunderstandings and communication errors are going to take place.
Right.
And those are the consequences of it when you try to weigh out vision, dental work, and hearing because these are all needs that every senior has to have in order to cope in life. And when you subtract part of that out, your life is going to be in a imbalance.
Right. And like, let's say you're still working. So I have somebody that, they just lost their job, and they happen to be 65, and they still have to work, and they want to work. So what I did was I loaned them hearing aids, because I said, if you're going to go for a job interview and you're 65 already, they're going to look at your age. I mean, they're not supposed to, but they will.
They will, of course.
And know that they could pay somebody younger less money. And you're going to miss what they say, and you may not get the job. So I'm going to loan you these so you can do well in your job. But he still returned them because he said he couldn't afford them now because he didn't get the job. But that was just, but he is an ongoing, it's ongoing though.
Yeah.
So, it's very hard to have a better income and all of that when you're not able to hear.
That's very true. Very true. And that can be picked up so quickly by someone who is an employer who is interviewing you.
Right.
Absolutely so quickly.
Right. So they did a study, and it shows that people with a hearing loss that wear hearing aids make more money than people that have a hearing loss and don't wear hearing aids. They did a couple of studies on relationship of income to hearing loss.
Very interesting.
And also many medical problems are related to hearing loss. I just read about diet and hearing loss. Heart problems and hearing loss. They're all related,
and they all interact.
Yes,
There's no doubt about that. But, some of my patients are just terribly reluctant and have they're a little vain in terms of not wanting a big, bulky hearing aid. But, like you said, with Bluetooth and everything else, people are out there with walking around with earphones on.
Yeah.
So, and one of my patients said, I'm not getting hearing aids. I just refuse, and I'm going to read lips. And, that I knew.
Lots of luck.
I knew that didn't work well with him once he lost his job. So, you can think you're going to get around this, but, this is a difficult problem I think our society has to now consider. And, I've written in the past about the cost of a lot of these problems and trying to resurrect one's quality of life by making sure they can chew, they can see, and they can hear. But, right now we haven't done anything about that. And of course, I'd love to see where our patients have the advantage of getting subsidized care for all of these problems, but Medicare does not do that.
Right.
And that's our ongoing problem that we should be trying to change.
Right. Well, did you know that hearing loss is the third most common disease in the United States, below cancer and heart disease?
Well, if Medicare okayed it, they'd go broke tomorrow.
Right.
Well, I
They
think
would.
if they're business people,
ridiculous.
we could figure it out, but they're not business people.
Nope.
They're politicians.
That's right.
True. That's true. And we need to take a break. The old eagle eye over there. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Lots of people can build websites, but there's one Santa Clarita company that specializes in designing websites for your business. Small Dog Creative. The Small Dog Creative team is made up of local designers who are hands-on. Their talented team of experts build premium websites and redefine branding. Small Dog Creative doesn't just build websites. They'll upgrade your business's online presence and turn your business into a powerful online brand. Small Dog Creative. Santa Clarita's most innovative web and design company. SmallDogCreative.com.
Six Flags smashes another world record with a new Crazanity. Coming soon, the world's tallest, the world's fastest, most extreme ride of its kind. Reach speeds up to 75 miles an hour as you soar 170 feet above the thrill capital of the world. For the best summer savings, save big at SixFlags.com. Go for the most coasters on the planet and go crazy on the new Crazanity. Go big. Go Six Flags.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Now FM, 98.1 FM, and AM 1220. Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS. And we're speaking with Nola Aronson, who is with Advanced Audiology, one of our sponsors. And welcome back here.
Okay, thank you.
And you have something very important to talk about.
Yeah, so one of the reasons that Advanced Audiology, well, a couple of reasons Advanced Audiology should be your choice when it comes to your hearing needs is, first of all, we just celebrated our 30th anniversary in the Santa Clarita Valley.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We have 3 doctors of audiology, myself, and a hearing aid provider that I personally trained. And we're there 5 days a week. And we've gotten many awards. And this Friday at 2 o'clock, we're going to be awarded by Senator Scott Wilk the Best Small Business of the Month.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, wonderful.
So
of the month.
Yeah, he does one. He does a different
one a
business
month?
every month. And so I feel honored to do that. And also, one of the things is when you come to Advanced Audiology and you purchase hearing aids, we donate 10% of the hearing aid proceeds to a different nonprofit every month. We started this about 3 years ago, and it's grown so much that I get asked all the time for different charities, and so sometimes it's 2 or 3 in a month. So this month, next Saturday, August 11th, I am also on the board of directors for the Circle of Hope, and we are putting on a wonderful event called Vine to Wine, and it will be at about 6 o'clock. Tickets are available online. Go to circleofhope.org, and you can purchase your tickets online. You get wine. There'll be food. There'll be silent auction. There'll be great music by Lance Allen, and he's wonderful. And then there'll be also a live auction for the first time this year, and our state assemblyman, Dante Acosta, will be the auctioneer. So that will be exciting. And it's a very good event. All the proceeds go to helping people with cancer and helping them with their medical needs, helping them with food. And we have a new center there called Hope's Haven, which is a support group. And you get to do exercise, you get to have your makeup done, massages, all kinds of great things. And it's a wonderful, wonderful organization. So I am supporting that organization. And then also on August 25th, I think it is, I'm also sponsoring Dancing with Our Stars. And the reason I'm sponsoring that is because that includes about 15, or I don't know exactly how many nonprofits all at once. So that's a good way to sponsor all the nonprofits is coming to Dancing with Our Stars.
Are you dancing?
No, I'm not. Willie and Ingrid of DeWilfrey Studios puts it on, and they're very good friends of mine. They have they're the best dancers and the best dance studio in the Santa Clarita Valley, and for my 30th anniversary, they came and performed, and Willie took me on the dance floor and dipped me, and I don't think it was too easy. So until I take lessons for a while, I don't think I'll be dancing with our stars. But it will be a fun event, so that will be good.
So, Nola, if anyone, our listeners, would like to get a hold of you for any of the projects you're involved with, or especially those seniors who, or family members who might be having problems with their hearing, how do they do that?
Okay, so you can call us at 661-253-EARS. That's 661-253-3277. We are located on Valencia Boulevard next to AAA in the Century 21 Owen Patterson building. We are the ones with the purple sign. And our website, if you do have a pencil and you can hear me on the radio, our website is scvadvancedaudiology.com. But our phone number is 661-253-3277. And I'd like to remind all of you that we have a community event that goes on for the whole year, every single year. This year we are doing 2018 free hearing screenings for anybody that wants one. All you have to do is call our office at 661-253-3277, and you can just ask for your free hearing screening. I think we're up to, I don't know, I think it's 1,650 free hearing screenings already this year.
Whoa,
Wow.
that's wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot more than last year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa.
Good job. You know, but you're trying to achieve 2018 in 2018, but
Right.
you certainly got a big head start on that.
Right. And
Yeah,
so
that's gonna be
also
hard to-
what we do there is not only give you a free hearing screening, but educate you about hearing. So that's what's really important to us is the education portion.
Nola, you're always involved in the community. You're always giving back. You're always helping our seniors out. You know, it's so impressive, all the little things and the big things that you do for our community, and we thank you for that. Thank you for being on our show.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yes, it was a fun time.
We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology, Nola Aronson, and Comfort Keepers in Home Care. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.